Hey there. I want to tell you about something incredible happening in the central region of Ghana. It's called the Bernice Mays Academic Improvement Project, a beacon of hope. This NGO delivers essential resources like clothing and female supplies. These aren't just items, they're lifelines. One standout achievement is the Bernice Mays Community Library. This isn't just any library. It's the first of its kind in this village. This library also has a computer lab, opening up digital learning to the community. These initiatives are possible through generous donations. Your support brings hope and educational opportunities. To everyone who has contributed, thank you. Your generosity is paving the way for a brighter future. Let's continue to change lives, one donation at a time. See you next time.
All right, Muskegon, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. PA Big Rob here. We got a special guest in the studio. He is the big boss down at the Community Foundation.
The biggest of the big bosses.
The biggest of the biggest Community Foundation. Todd Jacobs, welcome to the show, man.
Good to see you too.
He wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't
No, he wasn't.
I don't even get that kind of respect at home.
Just show me how it goes, right?
Wife don't give it to you.
Well, welcome. And so, how long you been the president?
I'm in my 6th year as president of the Community Foundation. Yeah, so I returned to Muskegon in 2019.
Wow, and Muskegon is home.
It is home. Yes, I did. Yeah, I grew up over by St. Francis de Sales Church over there by Nugent Sand.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's good. Well, welcome. This is your first time here, then. Your first time at the radio station.
First time in the station. Yes.
Wow. Well, we got to get you back, Todd. You're like non-traditional, like me, leader. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a suit and tie to be a leader.
Yeah.
Not saying you don't wear a suit and tie, but I can tell you're like a non-traditional, basic, down-to-earth leader, and you do what you have to do.
Yeah, I think it's important that that we meet folks where we're at and where they're at, and if it's important that I wear a suit to meet with somebody, I certainly will. But otherwise, I like to feel comfortable. I want folks to feel comfortable when they come to the Community Foundation.
That's good.
Wow. Well, you have an important event coming up. Building a strong community foundation for Muskegon County, the 2024 annual gathering.
Yes.
Coming up on October 11th. I believe that's a Friday.
Yeah.
It's a big push this year. What's going to be different this year?
Yeah. The time is a little bit different for us as well. The annual gathering, as the name suggests, we have it every year. Typically, it's been in November, but we were really hoping to get Chuck Marone to come. He's with Strong Towns. And the one date that he had available was October 11th. And so he's going to be in West Michigan. And for us to have an opportunity to share him with the Muskegon County community and his knowledge around housing and housing affordability and accessibility, I think is a very important message. And so the annual gathering, it's free to the community. We'll have refreshments and beforehand. Free refreshments beforehand, and starts at 3. At 3:30, we'll start with the formal program, and it's really an event that we put together so that it gives us an opportunity to share with the community what we've been working on during the course of the last year, lifting up a topic that's been important. We had the Greens a couple of years ago. They talked about inclusive prosperity. We've had a number of the last couple of years. We've partnered with MADL, Muskegon Area District Library, and helped bring a couple of authors into town. And this year, we wanted to bring somebody in around housing. We've all been talking about housing and the need for housing. And this is somebody that is known nationally for looking at how do you approach sort of the lack of housing across the country. And he was here about 10, 12 years ago and helped the city of Muskegon with a little bit of their planning and processes and just thinking through how do you begin to rebuild a community. And I think it's a good time for him to return.
Oh wow! So focusing on housing, which is definitely a big need.
Yep.
And who do you want to see there?
We'd encourage everybody to in the community to come. But I think if folks are, if you don't yet have a home and you're interested in learning more about how you might be able to build your wealth, through home ownership, this might be something of importance to you. If you're involved with your township or your municipality, the city council, I would encourage folks to come. Certainly, folks that are members of their church that they're trying to lift up their fellow parishioners or folks in the neighborhood. I think there's a message to be shared with them as well. Last year, the county, the community foundation, several other municipalities, the city of Muskegon, Goodwill, United Way, the Chamber, and Greater Muskegon Economic Development. We actually conducted a survey, needs assessment around housing, and we found out that we need over 9,000 units in the next 5 years, and that's both home ownership and rental.
Wow!
And so, how do you begin to tackle that?
It's
And
over 2,000 a year.
yeah, exactly. And we haven't built 2,000 in the last 10 years, right?
That's a lot of homes. It's like 200, almost 200 homes a month.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need homes and houses, but we need them across the entire spectrum. We
Right.
need them for folks that are right now that are underhoused, or maybe on the verge of losing their apartment, and we have folks that have resources that are looking to buy homes. What's really interesting that came out of this study is that 67% of folks in Muskegon County are individuals or maybe a husband and a wife without children, but our housing stock doesn't reflect that. And so part of what we need to develop is housing that may be suitable for those individuals so that they may choose to leave their 3 or 4 bedroom home.
Maybe a 2-bedroom.
And now it opens up for somebody else,
Right.
for
Needs
another
that
family.
space.
And so
60%.
60, over 60, almost 60, 63%. I'm sorry, 63% of the folks are
Wow.
single or dual, 2 people living in a home right now in Muskegon County.
Wow. Okay then.
Yeah. So
Is
back
it
in the 70s, everything was being built they're building houses for families,
Exactly.
Mhm.
but now that's such a much smaller number.
Is it due to the cost of rent and because there is such a shortage of housing? Because I know some people for a 1-bedroom are paying over $1,200 a month
Yeah.
in just rent.
Yeah. I mean, part of the trouble that we have right now is that, your average teacher might be able to afford around $1,600 a month. They can't find housing. If you're an EMT or if you're a pharmacy tech, you can afford $850 a month. There's not a lot of that housing out
No,
there
there's
either.
not.
No. And so part of this is how do we help create and incentivize developers to create that kind of housing here in Muskegon County. But if you're thinking, if you're only thinking we need big houses, then we're not going to necessarily get to the housing needs the folks, that some folks need.
Right.
If I need a 1-bedroom, with a kitchen or a studio apartment, you can build those a lot less expensively than you can if you need somebody's trying to build a 2,000 square foot house.
With the contract, they want that bigger house. They make more money.
Well, there are folks that do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I ain't messing with no 2-bedroom.
All right.
I'll let you later.
Yeah, exactly. You talking about your home, Paul? Is that what you're talking about?
No. I think I get claustrophobia. Now I'm spoiled. I have claustrophobia by myself. And I got 6 grandkids. So
Yeah. So you need some space.
Need some space, extra space.
Yeah.
Todd Jacobs here from the Community Foundation. Let's talk about some of the work from the Community Foundation. What's the budget looking like? How does it feel to manage a multi-million-dollar budget?
Well, I tell you, one of the things, my first experience with the Community Foundation came in 1985 when I was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship from the Community Foundation. And it meant for many folks in Muskegon County, that's often their first experience.
Yes.
Their second one may be later on when they're working, and maybe they're working in the nonprofit area or at the government. They may apply for a grant, and then maybe they're a grant recipient. But my first experience came when I was gonna hopefully attend school beyond high school, and I received a scholarship to go to Aquinas College, and it made all the difference for me being able to go to school. And so that experience, coupled with my parents encouraging me to volunteer a great deal when I was growing up, led me into a sort of a life filled with service. And so when there's an opportunity that presented itself for me to return to Muskegon, I was just thrilled to come back to steward what the community has created here. So since 1961, folks have been giving individual donations, some small, some large. But because of those donations, we've been able to invest those. They've grown over time. And we'll award between 11 to 13 million dollars a year here in Muskegon County.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. And what's really amazing about that, Paul and Big Rob, is that money is used in a way that the donors want us to use it. So if Big Rob, if you gave us the money and you said, I'd like it to benefit something around education, we'd look for how we could best apply it to move the community forward in the area of education. So we're focusing on literacy, by making sure that there's equitable educational opportunities. If you wanted to support your church, you could create a fund at the foundation, and then every year that money that's generated, part of that money would go to the church to support the church's work. So it's really how the donor wants those funds to benefit the community. One such couple that have funds with us are Dick and Lynn Camps. They've created the Step Up program. And this year at our annual gathering on October 11th, we have an award. It's called the Impact Award.
Okay.
And we recognize somebody within the community, often folks that are just very modest and doing things underneath the radar. And the camps, they started the Step Up program 10 years ago now. And that's a program, if you're not familiar with, helps provide housing for individuals that are coming out of the foster care system in many cases.
Oh, wow.
And so they've got one home for women, another home for expectant mothers. There are support services that are built around them. They learn how to have basic life skills and things of that, because a lot of individuals, when they become teenagers and they move out of their house, what do I do? Right.
Right.
And so the camps have wrapped their arms, and their friends and other folks that volunteer with the Step Up program wrap their arms around these individuals and help provide the kind of mentorship that they need so that they can be successful in the next stage of their life. And so they'll be lifted up and celebrated as the 2024 Impact Award recipients
Wow.
at this year's annual gathering as well.
Congratulations to Dr. Dan and Lynn Camps. If you're watching on social media, we got something up here, a fund created by Janie Brooks Davis, who my favorite history teacher in college. Can you tell us, or do you know about the fund? I know you got so many funds, but can you tell us about this fund?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, Janie used to be a trustee on the Community Foundation board a few years ago. But she came in and she wanted to create a fund. As you mentioned, you knew her from back in your educational days.
Yes.
I believe her fund is being earmarked to support education and educational needs within the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so again, there's a situation where, she reached out to the Community Foundation, and she spoke to some of the folks on the staff, and our conversation is, how can we help you enrich the community? And then we listen to what you have to say, and we, help to define it, find a way to do that. In Janie's case, I believe she's doing that during your lifetime, but sometimes folks will say, you know what? I'm going to leave when I pass away, I'm going to leave some of my life insurance to my kids, but I want to leave some to my church, and maybe I'll leave a little bit to the Community Foundation to do some other good works within the community.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And if they want to do that, who should they reach out to?
They can call the Community Foundation's just general number, And I should know that off the top of my head. Oh, 722-4538. It
You
took
never
a
have to
minute.
call it.
It's a Monday.
You never have to call it. You know what I mean? You're the
Yeah,
boss.
you don't have to call it.
Yeah.
I have to think about the number here. So I
Yeah,
get it. I
thank
get
you.
it. Go ahead, Big Rob. You
Yeah.
got something?
Charles Moran Jr.
Yes.
Am I saying that correct? He wrote a book that's going to be available. Will it be hard copies or just from the Book Nook or Java shop?
Yeah, so the Book Nook and Java shop out of Montague, they're going to be at the Frauenthal, and they'll have the books available for sale.
The
So when
actual physical book.
the actual
Oh,
physical book,
okay.
yep, I believe it is. I believe it's a soft cover book, but they'll be in the lobby before and after the event. Chuck Marone will also be available to sign copies if folks are interested in that. Um, I know his books are also available, on the internet now, so you can get it through, various, you know, li- Amazon or various other listening mediums as well. So if you want to listen to it before you come, you certainly are encouraged to do that. But really, he's actually lifted up Muskegon as sort of a great example of what happens when you begin to engage the community with some of your planning in the city of Muskegon, and there are certainly lessons to be learned from around the country. He's an economist, also focuses in urban and rural development, and so we think that the timing of this will be very good. As I mentioned, knowing what the needs are now,
Mhm.
um, within the community, knowing that we can have this gentleman led some insight will be wonderful. Do you mind if I sort of go off script a little bit and lift
Sure.
up something else?
Sure.
So this past month at the County Board of Commissioners meeting,
Mhm.
um, they put some money forward that matched some money by the Community Foundation, and for the first time, we're going to have a county-wide housing coordinator. This is an individual that will be available to work with municipal leaders. And so, if municipal leaders are saying, hey, we haven't reviewed our zoning in a number of years, but we need to look at our zoning so that we can be more housing friendly, this individual will be somebody that can help them with that. If there are developers that are talking to townships or city members, and they need some assistance in terms of how do they interact or work with those developers, this position will be an individual that can work with those townships and also work with developers. Um, our neighbors in Ottawa and Kent County have a position like this. We have not had a position. This will actually be the job is posted on the county's website, and there'll be a county job position, but it'll be housed at Greater Muskegon Economic Development offices downtown. But this is an important resource that'll be available for our leaders in the community as they're trying to tackle how do we move forward and build housing that is suitable for the folks within our community and our neighborhoods.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so I just want to sort of lift that up because there's a lot of people talking about housing.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
And there are a lot of things going on, but I think, finding the right person to do that work will be important. So spread the word in terms of that opportunity, but then also for folks to be aware that this is going to be a resource for municipal leaders and people that are trying to move housing along.
A couple more questions before we go. How many homeless people do you believe we have here in Muskegon County?
That numbers, vary significantly, but what I can tell you is there's 27% of the people in Muskegon County are considered to be homeless or housing insecure. And what housing insecure is, they might be paying far more for their rent and for their insurance and things of that sort than they can really do. So we were talking about earlier with the folks that were making money and working hard but
Right.
can't find any place.
Right.
You're considered to be housing poor. And so if you throw those folks that are on the edge of being evicted, and I know right now there's that got sort of put on hold during COVID because that was the government said you couldn't evict folks, but now unfortunately folks are finding themselves in the position of being evicted. That and those folks that are being homeless, there are many families that need to be lifted up here in Muskegon County.
Do you think that numbers is in the hundreds when it comes down to being
Absolutely.
homeless, to being homeless?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. The other question, as a leader, what do you think we could change? What can we do better at here in Muskegon County?
Overall,
Your overall, just from
I-
your perspective. It don't have to be
Mm.
foundation perspective, just in life general. What can we just do better at?
I personally think that we need to talk a lot more. One of the things when I returned to Muskegon to be at the Community Foundation in 2019, we're located in the Frauenthal building. We're on the second floor, but I said, I don't want folks to just know that that's where the Community Foundation is. And so, we're at Corrine's Cakes on Broadway once a month.
Oh,
We go up to the White Lake area, every other month. We've been out to Ravenna. Next in October, or maybe it's November, we'll be in Fruitport. It's important for us to meet the community members where they're at. We want to hear what's going well, but we also want to know what the concerns are. But I think beyond us doing this, I would just encourage folks to talk to one another, and to certainly being open to perspectives that may not be our own.
wow, that's it. And listen, talking mean listen, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, not just one way. Wow. Anything else you want to share before we go?
We'd love to see folks on Friday, October 11th. It'll be a great day again. The event begins at 3:00. The program will actually start at 3:30. And we'll be presenting the Impact Award to the Camps family. And then after that, Chuck Marone will be speaking around housing. But if we can't see you there, please swing by the Frauenthal, or maybe I'll see you at Corrine's.
All right. Thank
All
you so
right.
much, for Todd, for joining. He is from Muskegon, to folks who don't know.
85 Crusader Pride.
All right. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Have you ever dreamed of spending Christmas surrounded by the stunning wildlife of the Serengeti, then ringing in the new year on the pristine beaches of Zanzibar? Join me on an extraordinary 10-day adventure with Visit Tanzania for Less. Our journey kicks off in the heart of the Serengeti. For 2 days, you'll witness the majestic wildlife in their natural habitat, creating unforgettable holiday memories. Next, we explore the breathtaking Ngorongoro crater, a true wonder of nature, home to a dense concentration of wildlife. Feel the thrill of spotting the Big Five and more. But the adventure doesn't stop there. Continue with the Serval Wildlife Tour. Discover the beautiful South African white lions while learning about the efforts to protect them. After your safari, enjoy 5 days in Zanzibar. Relax on pristine beaches, explore vibrant coral reefs, and soak in the rich culture and history of this tropical paradise. End your trip with a guided city tour of Dar es Salaam. Discover the vibrant life of Tanzania's largest city and immerse yourself in its unique charm. This entire journey of a lifetime is only $3,805 per person. Secure your spot with just a $300 deposit and enjoy flexible monthly payments. For more information and to book your holiday special, visit visittanzania4less.com. Spend less and see more. This holiday season, create memories that will last a lifetime with Visit Tanzania for Less. Happy holidays and happy travels.